time. You know, he can take that trash. I wasn't going to say it. I was going to say, Mr. Man can take that establishment and put it somewhere else. You know, so I just don't understand when somebody says it's for us. So it's not, Councilman Woods. It does not rest on traffic. It rests on the need. It should as well. We have 8 gas stations, and by him saying, the attorney, by him saying the flow is going like this. The flow over there comes like this as well. And it goes up the hill, the Bluff Park. It goes up to Ross Bridge. And when you were talking, speaking about the Powley, we don't have Powley anywhere on that road. He gave you a bunch of bull. He told you everything. He told you stuff going that way towards Ross Bridge. Behind it, where's Powley? And then the word we know is misspelled. It's a lot of discrepancies that this is the worst one I've seen in terms of developing. So therefore, at our expense, it's going to be based on traffic? No, it should be.
I was just like, this is the first I've kind of heard the pushback, and so a large part of the comments that were made by the public today were about the concerns around traffic. So that's where I was coming from.
We're not resting on just traffic. We don't need another gas station. We don't. If it was a need, we take it. We'd be the first. I promise you. You can ask people who work here. I'd be the first to say, let's get it. Let's go for it. And we have had good developments. But this is not one. A gas station, for real? We need another one? So it just, it's for their gain and not for us, our pleasure. So.
Okay, thank you. Yes, sir, would you like to speak? Please give your name and address.
Okay. My name is Willie Oliver. I reside at 3532 Cliff Terrace South in Birmingham. I've been an architect in Birmingham for 40 years and worked on major projects. Everyone talks about traffic and that sort of thing, but I'm going to address the economic impact of this project. Mr. Ahmed has spent $325,000 to purchase this project. That's number one. He has negotiated with CSX to purchase this project for a development that is needed. The construction cost of this particular development will be a little over $2.4 million. That $2.4 million and the materials, the workers, the construction, all of that $2.4 million will be a boost in the economic development from suppliers, contractors, Lowe's, Home Depot, and all other construction material entities. This development will hire several employees, construction workers. It will hire civil folks. It will hire structural folks. It will hire painters. It will hire plumbers. It will hire erection people. It will hire metal building folks. So all of that development. And if you look at the $325,000 plus the $2.4 million that he is to invest in this project, we're looking at close to $3 million of an impact statement. Secondly, this facility will also create jobs. If I'm not mistaken, we will have at least a couple of 3 shifts that will employ people that currently does not have jobs. They currently could possibly hire the students at John Carroll, could possibly hire anybody in that area, especially along the Lakeshore area who needs a job that would be also in walking distance or riding their bikes to this facility. And as I understand, the food that is not being served, or the food is not being used after the development is closed, Mr. Ahmed has an agreement with some of your local food banks to give that food to those who needs the food, who don't have food as they are currently not now. So it's not just traffic. And I'll just make one more statement. I saw the mayor in another venue about a month ago And I just so happened to have the drawings in my hand, and I showed the mayor the development. And I know the mayor real well. I've been knowing him for over 40 years. When he saw the development, he said, Mr. Oliver, it looks good. We need that here in Birmingham. Let's do it and let's make it happen. So it's not just the traffic. It's the economic impact, the jobs, the continual jobs, the buying of fuel, the buying of materials, the buying of drinks, sodas, beverages that will be continuing on and on and on, which now would be not only $3 million, that could be $20, $30, $40 million over time. So think about what kind of impact that would have in the city of Birmingham when we desperately need an economic shot in the arm. Thank you.
Thank you. Sure. Come on up. Make it quick, though.
I just want to let everybody know that in the opinion of our neighborhood, this is a case where the dollars don't make sense. We did not ask him to come purchase that property. So any kind of purchase, any kind of decision that's based on this property should not be on the fact that he chose to buy it of his own accord. That was his business. We're the ones who have to live there. Now, we're making this decision we're here as residents, tax-paying residents of the city of Birmingham, telling you that there's something we do not want in our neighborhood. We're the one paying taxes here. He wants to buy a piece of property in that neighborhood. But we already live there. We've been paying taxes there for 20, 30 years, and we're saying no. Now, that's the bottom line, and we're the ones who vote for people in these positions. So I just want to remind everybody that that's where we are, and we're saying no.
We understand that. Thank you. Are there any questions from members of our committee?
Did we ever get
I'm sorry, I know it just. Okay, you have spoken twice.
Did we ever get DOT? DOT.
Spoke to her. She said she was on her way.
If y'all need a continuance to get down to the track, we want it to be right. We want y'all to have time to hear from the traffic professionals or whatever you need. We're happy to continue.
What we could do is table it. We've got one other case. We could table this one and hear that other case and then see what we have about traffic.
Oh, she's here.
She's here.
Yeah.
Well, then we won't have to table it if she'll come in here.
Councilor Abbott, I just want to echo what Councilor Woods said. It seems to be the issue here. It seems, to be a traffic situation, that the residents are saying is going to be a problem. But I do want to speak to something that, is it Mr. Oliver? That said that this was going to cause an economic boost. There's no shortage in jobs, COVID hit, everybody's hiring. But I think one thing that you said that it was going to give individuals jobs. You did mention something about John Carroll. John Carroll is a high school, so I don't think that high school students can work in a convenience store that sells, alcohol to the public. But I'm just like Councilor Woods, want to hear, what the DOT has to say about the traffic. And I'm curious to know, like the residents are saying, it's a lot. How are you all dealing with the current traffic situation that's going on, there now? Like, how do you guys deal with that? Like, is the traffic heavy like a certain time of the day, or is it just like a all-day flow of traffic, just all day long?
Well, we don't know. Is the DOT representative here or not?
Yeah, I think James is in the hallway. He's just finishing a call, but he'll be available in just a second.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay, so we're discussing this request for rezoning that is in the Oxmoor neighborhood for a convenience store on a greenfield piece of property. You're familiar with it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, Councilor Woods has a question to ask you, and we're all interested in the answer.
Right, yeah, so basically, you know, the DOT kind of looked at this, I guess, egress, ingress into the proposed property and didn't feel like it would be any sort of traffic issue. You know, there's some other opinions that feel strongly in the opposite direction, but just kind of want to get a feel for y'all's thought process of how congestion would be prevented with the new gas station.
Good question. So for that particular piece of property and for that proposed land use type, so a gas station, we tend to, as drivers, access property. You know, gas in a lot of ways is a commodity. It might be a couple cents cheaper on one side of the street than the other, but in general, when we're traveling along the roadway, access is a consideration. So we tend to make right-hand turns to get into those kinds of properties. So, for example, in this location, there is a competing gas station right across the street. And so if somebody is heading northbound into town along the roadway and they see that there's a queue to get into the gas station, this new gas station on the left, they're probably going to choose not to go to that gas station and they're just going to go to the one on the right to get their gas and then to go on. There is also a left turn lane to accommodate, you know, if there is queuing. There's a left turn lane that's being created so that people can make that left-hand turn. And then additionally, in the outbound direction, same thing. So in the evening, if people are coming south along the roadway, you know, that's probably when they'll get a good bit of traffic because it's really easy to access. And then just zooming out and looking at the tract in general, if we are going to deny access, so I think they put the driveway in the most logical spot, so kind of the furthest away from the intersection and aligned with the driveway across the street, so I think it's in the most logical spot. So if we are not going to allow access at that location, then we're essentially saying that that property is almost undevelopable. And so I don't know that we're necessarily prepared to say that, and I think given the access nature of how these properties are accessed, I don't see that property as a gas station being a significant issue in that location.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions regarding the traffic? Okay, are there any other questions, period, or comments? So do we have a motion?
I make a motion, no recommendation, that we recommend it, you know, to the full council, you know, for a vote.
With no recommendation from the committee?
Yes, ma'am.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded that this committee send the item to the full council without a recommendation. So, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. No. But that passes. So, this is going to the full council with no recommendation. Next case.
We appreciate the time you give us, so thank you.
If everyone would exit quietly so that we can move ahead with our last case, we would appreciate it. Thank you. Next item.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is ZAC 2022-9. It's located in the Druid Hills neighborhood. It's an application of downzone property from mixed-use downtown district to D4 medium density residential district in order to allow for single family housing to be built on Block E of the Caraway redevelopment filed by Becky Carpenter with Corporate Realty Development on behalf of the owner, Northside Redevelopment LLC, for property located at 1710 26th Street North, situated in the southwest quarter of Section 24, Township 17 South, Range 3 West. It's located in the Council District 5. The subject property sits on approximately 2.89 acres of land, currently zoned MUD. Abutting the subject property to the north is vacant land, zone D4. To the south and west is the old Caraway Hospital site that's currently being redeveloped, and it's also currently zoned mixed use downtown. To the east are single-family homes zoned R3, single-family residential. The applicant's proposal is to downzone this parcel, referred to as Block E, from mixed use downtown to D4, medium-density residential, in order to construct single-family homes on 16 individual lots. The construction and design of the homes will be contracted out to a third-party home builder. These will be wood frame construction on slab on grade. Most single-family residential projects are expected to be 1 or 2 stories. The city's long-range land use plan identifies the property as mixed-use downtown district. This land use category is designed to accommodate medium to high-density office, residential, retail, entertainment areas that create vibrant 24/7 week, 24 hours, 7 day a week, live, work, play environments. In 2019, this parcel was part of a zoning case 2019-12. It was rezoned from CB2 and CO and I to mixed use downtown in order to allow for a new mixed use development on the old Caraway Hospital site. The minimum setbacks requirements for single-family homes in D4, lot area 4,500 square feet, lot width of 40, setbacks front 20, rear 15, side a total of 14 with 5 on one side. The property would also have to be resurveyed into 16 lots. It is currently 1 lot. The residential development does have a landscaping requirement within the city zoning ordinance, and they would comply with that. At this time, Stormwater did not have comments on this request. The Druid Hills Neighborhood Association met a regular scheduled meeting on May 23, 2022 to review the proposed project and voted to support the proposed rezoning request. The vote at that time was 19 in favor and 0 to deny. As a courtesy, the applicant took the rezoning request to Evergreen and Norwood neighborhoods. The Evergreen Norwood Neighborhood Association met a regular scheduled meeting May 17, 2022, and they voted to unanimously support the request. The Norwood neighborhood met on June 22, 2022, and they likewise voted unanimously to support. This area does not have a framework plan committee as at this time, and the Zoning Advisory Committee met at a regular scheduled meeting on August 2nd, 2022, and were unanimous in their decision to recommend to the Planning and Zoning Committee, and that vote was 5 to 0, and that would conclude the report.
Okay. Is the applicant here? Will you please come forward, and if there's any additional information that you would like to provide aside from the staff report?
Yes, so my name is Marianne McKee. I'm here representing the applicant. One thing I do want to note is when we rezoned the property originally, the intent was that the northern portion of the site would be single-family home usage, and the rest of the site would be mixed-use development to support all the commercial. That intent is still the case here. Block E is at the transition point of mixed use to D4. So that is the block that we would rather take down zone from mixed use and do additional single family homes at this location. So I'm happy to answer any questions for you.
Okay, is this the lot that used to have the gazebo on it?
I believe it is. So it's in between 17th and 18th, right after the parking deck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, we'll hear from all the people, and then we'll possibly have questions. This is a public hearing. Are members of the public here who would like to speak? And if so, please come to the microphone and give your name and your address. And you have 3 minutes to speak. And you cannot speak from the audience. You have to come to the microphone. So come to the microphone, please, if you wish to speak.
Good afternoon, and we may be a little bit out of order at this point. We were here for the Insula Highlands.
Can you state your name and your
Okay, my name is Dora Sims, and I'm the president of the Five Points West community. And we, with some neighbors here from Insula Highlands, we were here to speak on behalf of the Insula Highlands case that was supposed to come up next. And so what we're trying
it's been delayed for 2 weeks.
It's been delayed?
Delayed.
So we will not be able to speak this afternoon at all?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
So you're not here to speak for the case we're on?
Okay, so I'm home.
Right.
Okay. So we be notified?
Well, it'll be at our next meeting, which is in 2 weeks.
Well, all of the residents out there are here to speak on that case. They didn't know about the continuance, so they did come today, and they wanted to know if it was okay if they just made a statement to you.
Well, we continued it at this meeting. Was nobody paying attention?
Well, no, they know it was continued, but they all came today to speak about it.
Okay. Okay, so you want, well, we don't want to make a statement in the middle of another case. So let us finish the case we're on, and then you can make a statement. But we do want the applicant to be present for a hearing. So the hearing has been delayed, but let's finish the case we're on first.
Okay, so
and then you can make a statement after we finish this case.
Okay, we can, and then will we be required to come back when that applicant is here?
Yes, ma'am. It'll be in 2 weeks when you can come back, and then you can come up to the podium and speak about the case.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, because we don't want to have a one-sided conversation, especially since we've already continued it and they've gone away. Okay, so we are on ZAC 2022-00009 in case anybody is confused at this point. But are there any members of the public who would like to speak regarding this particular case? Okay, so is there a motion?
I got one quick question.
Okay.
How many homes, proposed homes?
Yeah, please come to the microphone.
Yeah, we have very preliminary drawings right now, but we would be subdividing based on those drawings that we have currently for 16 lots.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, 16 new houses. Okay, are there any other questions? Do we have a motion?
I move approval.
A second.
Okay, it has been moved and properly seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So that item passes. We'll send it to the full council with our recommendation. Okay. Now, who is making the statement? Is Ms. Sims the...
Sims.
You may just come back, it sounds like.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you don't do the case, it doesn't matter. If you don't do the case, it doesn't matter. It's nothing. You can't really speak if there's no case to speak on.
Well, it would make a lot better sense to me, but... Attorney Bernard, can you come to the microphone, please, and answer a question for the committee?
Okay.
Okay, I've just asked our attorney to please come and answer a question for us. We want to make sure that we're not out of line since the case has been continued for 2 weeks. So, Ms. Bernard, we just want to know, the committee wants to know if there's any problem with allowing a statement about a case that has been continued.
I would be concerned about due process, for it because the applicant is not here. I don't know if a statement is necessarily, an issue, but there would be no discussion, at all. But I would advise against doing it. But if the committee wants to hear from one person with no discussion, then, that may not cross the line, but I am concerned about it. As far as, they have a right to be in the hearing and have dialogue about any issues. And the reason they have continued it is to have some more conversation with staff to try to resolve some issues that could affect some of the things that may be concerns for the neighbors. I would encourage them to speak to staff about what their concerns are so we can make sure that everything gets addressed in the conversations with the applicant over the next couple of weeks.
Okay. What is how do y'all feel about this? You've heard what the attorney said.
Are y'all going to come back in 2 weeks anyway?
Sam, are you going to come back in 2 weeks?
Are you going to come back in 2 weeks anyway?
Are y'all?
Well, let's do it then.
Ms. Sims, the Council Woods wants to know, are you guys going to come back in 2 weeks when the applicant is here?
I think some of us can come back, but others, we have schedules as well that we may not be able to make it. But we want to make sure that our comments are heard, although we were here tonight to present those.
Right.
If we could mail or email those in, or if you can make some a phone call that we could call in our comments.
If anybody has a comment that can't come back, if y'all want to email it in and we read it at the hearing, or you have a spokesperson that can read a couple within 3 minutes, we can work that out as long as you send it in. But
the PEP staff will take all of the comments that are emailed or sent, and it's really better to send them than verbalize them, because the interpretation we get might be different from what you meant. So you should say what you mean, but they will give us a copy of every citizen's comments that they receive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, well, I'd just like to say one thing to the committee, that if involving this case, I wish that since we have 2 weeks of continuance, that you guys would actually visit this site, put boots on the ground, and look at the comments that we're talking about. So when we come back in 2 weeks, you have a better perspective as to what we're talking about. Okay? I really appreciate that. That would help us all. These are residents that live there and are tired of being abused by this company. And you'll see all of those in the comments. This company has not been, I'm not going to make any more comments because they're not here.
Okay, thank you.
And the only thing I'm going to say, like I say, I will try to come back, but we have this framework plan that we have been working on, and Instant Highlands is part of that. And so we want to make sure that you're aware of where we are with that framework plan. And this particular establishment sits right at our gateway that's coming into Five Points West. And so we have a lot of concerns about where it's sitting and it's the effect that we are having. In fact, we were trying to get this addressed before the World Games came in here. We had gone before the mayor and his group had come out. And so it didn't get addressed, but then later, like I said, it came before the neighborhood. So at this point, we do want to be back so they can hear our concern and let them know what we are expecting as well.
Okay, well, be sure and come back, and anyone who can't come back, you could write a plain letter or you can send an email, probably not a text, and let us know what your opinion is.
Okay,
for people who can't be here, but if you can be here, be here.
We will, and like I say, when all of a sudden, like I say, we were notified at the last minute today that this was going to be here, and then something we get here, for some reason, it's going to be continued. They are here and they decide to leave. It really puts us in a position where it's, okay, we'd have made all these special efforts to get here, but they had to leave. Yeah. So all I'm saying
and I understand, I'm a neighborhood person. I understand coming to a hearing and being upset because somebody's gotten a delay, but the applicant has the right to ask for a delay, and we gave it to them, so we've got to, and we have legal parameters we have to follow, so we can't have a hearing without the applicant here, and we've already delayed it. So
right. Okay.
I'm sorry that everybody will have to come back again or send comments. And Ms. Bernard?
I did call and speak with the attorney for the applicant to let him know what was going on. He said he would not object to just a brief statement to the committee by one person, and the written comments, sounded fine, to him. Of course, they'll want to see the comments and, hear any recording of what's said, but he said he doesn't, want to create an issue, but he does need to be here if there's going to be, an opening of full discussion. So, that's up to the committee.
Okay, so.
I have just one thing to say.
Okay, well, we'll let you make the statement since we've heard from everybody else.
We're here and they're not. Now,
okay, but they're not because we gave them a delay,
okay,
so they didn't just walk out on you.
But if we
and if you turn the microphone close.
If we weren't here and they were here, what would be the outcome?
Well, they're the applicant, so,
I was understood, if I'm wrong, I thought they said that they continue that they really would be really lost the case. That's what I'm thinking.
No, people can ask for a continuance for a variety of reasons.
Oh, and somebody got sick or something.
They couldn't do it 3 or 4 times, but once,
Okay.
Yeah. We do that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Does anyone have a motion that we adjourn?
Make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
It has been moved and properly seconded that we adjourn.